For those of you guys who don't know me, um, my name is Ashley Brook. I'm autistic. I'm 38 years old. I'm a single mother, and I have two autistic children. One is 2, and one is 10. He's about to be 11. Ozzy and Izzy. I created this channel originally to expose the fact that the state doesn't offer enough funding for autistic families. There's not enough support, and we're lacking support. And a lot of autistic people are struggling because there's no resources, no funding, no assistance to help them get these resources that do exist. And it's a big problem, and I don't feel that autistic people have equal opportunity. So that's originally why I created the channel. Um, but as I've been creating it, I realized that there is more angles to this that need to be addressed and to be supported. I would definitely say there's big problems with discrimination. There's a big problem with people not having the right information and understanding. So it doesn't really leave a neurotypical, in a good stance either, because they're acting certain ways, saying certain things, and they're not aware of what they're saying. So you can't really get mad at them. There's not enough information out there. So I hope that this channel helps support any mothers or fathers with autistic children, help them better understand their children, offer a support, just someone to talk to, help them as they go through this, because even if you do know what you're doing, sometimes it takes a little time for them to adjust and to get used to certain sensory stimulation, and to also learn the right avenues to go to get the right services that they would need. And there's so many factors at play, not just their child's challenges, but also navigating the system, state funding, to where no one wants to talk about this. Nobody really realizes that, especially in single family homes, autistic parents, parents with autistic kids, a lot of them have to stop working, or they have to keep leaving work to go to the schools because they're not getting the right support to get their children. And they end up losing their jobs, and they end up and then they are keeping their jobs, end up having to leave their kids with daycares and after school programs, and a lot of times these places, they don't understand autism even when they say they're supposed to. Hey everybody, hi. I'm just going to continue talking. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me. Hi. Recipe? Is how you say it? Okay, as I was saying, a lot of times these parents that are, struggling to understand their children are being rushed. And when they're rushed, the children are rushed, and that's the worst thing you can do for an autistic child, is rush them. It's not the parents' fault. There's not enough resources. There's not enough funding. And I know myself, I'm a parent, a single mother with 2 autistic kids, and I'm on the spectrum also. And I have many challenges and no support. So I know how difficult that can be. My whole day, I don't even have a moment for myself to grab any peace, because I like to do something for myself, like even watch a TV show by myself usually, until the end of the day once my children go to sleep. So I understand how that can be for other parents out there. I have my sister who I just spoke to recently. I haven't spoken to her in years, and she I guess came across my YouTube channel. She was like, oh my God, she's like, I just want to tell you I'm sorry, and I have an autistic kid now. That's how I came across your YouTube channel. And she's telling me too that she works all day. They're calling her from the schools to pick him up because he had an accident in his pull-up, and he's 8 years old, and he's not potty training. So a lot of people don't realize that all the work it takes for these parents to get things done, for their kids. So I just want to give some, for everybody to recognize that, give that some validation that it's not easy being a parent, and it's not easy being a parent that with a child that has needs that require them to be there often, because it's hard for a parent to go to work and make it happen for them when they have to be with them and help them with their, help them, and it's very scary when your child is nonverbal and you can't know for sure what's happening. And I'm very close to my children, and I never I stopped working when my son was born because I noticed his autism very early on. Hi Aaron. and I see the reason why I noticed that my son was autistic so young is because I'm autistic, and I was nonverbal till I was 7, and I didn't talk. I stopped talking again from ages 10 to 11, and I have many challenges today. So I picked up on that my son was autistic because I noticed certain things, the way he was playing with toys, the way he was, paying attention to like the functions of a toy rather than to pretend with it. And I noticed that he was not wanting to keep his clothes on. He was, when I tried to hug him, he'd push off, and I was like, okay, I did that when I was, a child. I do it today too. Sometimes if I'm not close to somebody, I don't like to be touched, if I don't know you, it kind of takes me a minute to get used to people. So, but a lot of parents that are not on the spectrum, it's hard for them to understand or see those signs early. So they end up sending them to daycares and so that they can, go to work and provide for them, like every caring, loving parent would. And they don't realize that they're being put in rooms with classrooms or with other kids that are overstimulating these children that are autistic and causing them stress, and they just don't have the right environment for them. So that's concerning, I know a lot of autistic kids too that are in regular schools with, and everyone always says this, well, why do you want to put them in a special class? They're gonna, they're gonna, be like singled out, and they're gonna, it's like, no, it's really important that they are in a group that understands their autism. Because that the teachers and everybody could, be held accountable to, make sure that your child gets the right environment that they need. Super, super important. Hi. Sky high. So yeah, so I wanted just to bring some attention to that. I was going to go over some topics on autism, some that are very helpful and very, very important for any mother that has an autistic child. Okay, so I'm going to go over one. There was one that was a question that was asked in my autism support group on my Facebook account, and it was a woman, and I'm gonna share this one with you because it was one that was very challenging for me, even though I understand, autism and our sensory challenges and all that. It was still challenging for me when I had to help my son go through this. So it would be potty training. Okay, so the lady asked, she said, my son is, I think she said he's 4 or something like that, and that was potty training and he was using the toilet, and then all of a sudden he stopped. He started going back in his pull-ups again. In his underwear at first, but then she had to go and put him into a pull-up because he kept pooping on himself. So I want to make this, it's very important, what I'm trying to say. Okay. Sorry, sometimes it's hard for me to get the right words out. Though I speak today, I still have challenges with my processing. So yes. So I want to go over this. Is very important because it's a big deal. Your child is not potty trained and they get older. What, God forbid something happens to the parent, people are not going to be as kind, and it's going to be really difficult. And then for a male especially, it can be very degrading and hard for them to be feel like like men, and even though they're autistic, as they get older, they're still going to turn into men, and a man doesn't want to feel helpless like that. It's not a good feeling for a man. I'm not a man, but I assume I've dealt with many men, and from what I've seen, I thought it'd be very difficult for a man to experience that, especially when they want to have a relationship. That'd be very hard. So I'm going to share with you guys some information that I found out. Okay, I found out that children on the spectrum, okay, let me just explain to you about microbiome. Okay, microbiome is the declining bacteria in your gut. Okay, the least amount of bacteria in your gut will eventually affect. You need this bacteria to help all of your organs function appropriately. Your nervous system, your immune system. It affects your brain. And your digestive system, and it'll cause you to have like really bad stomach issues, um, and trouble controlling your bowel movements. Okay, so the child may feel like they don't have to go at that moment, and then all of a sudden they can't help it. Okay, um, and this is something interesting to know. So this is also like, whether you're autistic or not, there's more bacteria in a woman's gut than a man's. But as a person gets older, the bacteria will there'll still be a declining bacteria in the gut as you get older. So whether you're a man or a female, the bacteria level is going to it's going to decline. So and that will affect the behavior and the intellectual. So sometimes you'll notice that if you have an autistic member in your family member in your house or something, or a partner or loved one, and you start to get older, you'll start to realize. My son's playing of the rolling ball game. He's going, ay. It's suspenseful. You'll start to realize that you might notice that they seem more autistic or something different about their behavior as they start to get older. I noticed that with myself. I always thought I could high mask really well, and I got to a certain age, and I was like, I can't mask no more. That's done. And so I kind of feel that for myself, experiencing that myself. So with the potty training, you're going to want to get them probiotics and fiber. That's going to help them with their stomach issues, and it's going to help them with the brain. So like, it's called the gut brain. So it affects them like behavioral wise and intellectually. As soon as my son started taking probiotics and fiber, honestly, within a few days, he was more willing and complying to do things that he wouldn't have done before. Okay, like sitting on the toilet, and now I want to just tell you all the things that I did, because I did 3 things at the same time when his behavior and his him complying with these things automatically changed within like the first week. I noticed a difference with the probiotics and fiber within the first couple of days. Okay, total difference in his behavior. Then I realized, because I remembered when I was younger, I had like, I would always bump into corners of walls. I would always knock over cups. My mom would get really mad at me, and she'd always be like, you're clumsy, call me dingy and stuff. Just messed up. It was old school, how they were back then. And I trip over my feet. I would sometimes be walking, and like my foot wouldn't like come back up. I just like fall over. And I realized that as a child I had really bad like issues with my muscle tone in my hands and my feet, and that also would make a child feel unsafe to sit on the toilet. So I started piecing it together, because my son wouldn't sit in the bathtub. He would scream if I tried to get him into a bath. I mean, I'm talking, he would pull my body in. Hi, hey, Astro Winter. Hi, I've been waiting to see you. Yeah, so I'm going to continue talking, because I was talking about my son. So yeah, when I would take him a bath, try to get him into the bath, my son would literally pull me in. He would panic, poor thing, but he didn't realize how big he is. He's bigger than me. I'm 5 feet tall. My son is almost 5 feet tall, but he weighs like 160 pounds. He's a big guy, and he'd pull me in a panic, and before you know it, I'm the one getting in the bath. It was intense, because he would be screaming too, with the high-pitched tone scream, and I have sound stimulation issues, so like any repetitive sound, I start to get really like agitated, and like it even causes me to have seizures. Like, so my brain cannot handle screaming or and a high tone pitch like that. I couldn't handle it, so we were both like having our sensory issues, and we were we were not being able to get him into the bath, and or long enough and I would freak out so much that I would just like shut down to where I can't handle the crying, and I would just not be able to fulfill and get, that motherly duty and just getting him in there and getting him out. Also, when he was screaming, I was afraid, like maybe he was too terrified. So I would start sponge bathing him. So when I realized that he didn't want to sit down, I first thought that it was like, oh, maybe he's claustrophobic. He doesn't want to sit into the bath. And then I thought maybe it's a water temperature, because I used to have issues with that when I was younger. But I came to find out that he didn't feel like secure because of the water and because of his muscles. He didn't feel like he was capable. It's like it's almost like putting a kid on a bike with no training wheels. Okay, having him go into a wet bathtub with no handrails, nothing to hold on to feel like physically secure. No physical assistance. He would freak out. He'd panic. And it probably made him panic more because I was so tiny that he would just pull me in. He's playing the video game. And so once I got him a bath chair with the handrails. As soon as I got him on the probiotics, and he started going in. At first he would just kind of like, the first time he was like still kind of like trying to shove me out of the way. And I got my noise canceling, I have trouble talking, I guess sometimes, noise canceling headphones, and I used that. I put my bandana on so they didn't fall out of my ears, and I got a little timer, like the little like kid timer. That's just like 5-minute timer, and so I started him off with 5 minutes, and he would see like the little pie, little pie chart, and it would fill up until I make a picture of a little dog, and I would play it for him before I put him into the bath. I would be like, okay, Ozzy, we're into the bath. This is how long it's going to take, and I let it play while he's sitting on the bed doing other stuff, and he would hear it, just so that he knows like how it's going to go down. We freak out. Autistic people, we freak out when we don't know how it's going to go down. Like, we need to know everything, how it's going to go, and who's involved, who will be there. Like, I need to know all facts before I do anything. Like, it freaks me out. So I started doing that for him. And I also, it's going to sound crazy, but if you guys watch any of my early videos, parents do this. They will vent and be like, oh my God, like because of the noise, or like because, or just like struggling trying to help them. They'll like say like, oh my God, like, just get in the bath or something like that. They'll say something. They can't help it, just the way we are, humans. So I, at first, just helped myself because I couldn't help like being like, oh my God, because of the noise. I put a tape over my mouth. I know, it sounds weird, right? But I put a little piece of tape over my mouth. So I didn't make sure that I didn't say anything to make it worse for him. So I did that for like the first 2 times, and then after I was able to train myself to not respond, say anything. He's laughing now. You can hear me. And then so we did it a couple times, and little by little, like after not even little by little, it took like maybe like to where I got him in there participating in his own bath without crying or screaming, and now he's giggling and laughing while he's taking a bath. It took about maybe 3 weeks. Okay, so if you have trouble with a kid trying to take him a bath, physical support is really important. I feel like it's very important. And the same thing with the potty training. See, I did the same thing in the potty training when I did the ignoring technique to help to get them to stop pooping on the floor. It's not just ignoring. Like, most people think, oh, ignore your child. I thought that at first too, and I was like, I'm not gonna ignore my kid. That's crazy, And so, but then I started reading more when I couldn't figure out how to go about it for my son, and I realized that ignoring it just means don't give into the if they do that, don't respond to it verbally. Don't leave the room or leave them. You can go like kind of like in the restroom area if they're and go into a separate room where you can still be near them, but don't give them too much of your don't look at them too much and like engage them. So I did that. Only one time I had to do it. Pooped on the floor. I just got up and I just cleaned it. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't say, oh, Ozzy, you pooped on the floor again. I didn't say anything at all. I just cleaned it. Got his tablet when I was, put it up top while I was cleaning. Didn't say anything. And then when it was time to clean him up, I said, okay, Ozzy, come into the restroom. And I cleaned him, and he's looking at me through the mirror, and I'm just like cleaning him. And I'm not being mean. I'm not saying anything at all. And I'm not like giving him, I don't even give him like too much look, but I can see him when he's looking down. I'm like glancing to make sure he's all right, you know, going through that. And I just did it like that, cleaned him up, and I said, okay, go sit on your bed. I said, next time you're going to try to use the toilet, right? And I said, okay, good boy. And then he went to go back, and then in the morning, I gave him his tablet back. I said, okay, here you go. I said, make sure to use the toilet, okay? And I again handed him his tablet. And then the next day, he woke me up. I was napping. He woke me up, and he, I guess, tried to make it to the restroom. He still pooped. I came out of his pull-up, like on the floor in the restroom. And I was like, I was gonna like, I didn't say anything at all either, though, but I was just like, oh my God. But I remembered what I had learned when I read the book. And so I said, oh, at least you woke me up. You tried to get to the toilet. Good trying, Ozzy. I said, I think we're going to give you a star for that because you tried. So I gave him a star. I said, okay, tomorrow, I said, I didn't think I said tomorrow. I said, next time I bet you're going to make it to the toilet. So the next day, it happened where he pooped and he made it to the toilet. And I was like, oh, right on. It was because I still rewarded, you know, like some children with autism, you know, they, you know, you don't know like what they're capable of doing. Like you have to make it practical. So because it was all new to get him going, I felt it was still important to reward the efforts. That will encourage him more, you know, that will encourage your child more to try again and be more like motivated to do it again. And it didn't, it worked. So I did the ignoring technique. That would be the ignoring technique. And then probiotics, and then I did the physical support, the toilet with hand railings. Especially if you have an autistic child that's bigger, like a, you know, huskier boy or girl, you're gonna want to get they have like the toilets that are like wider. They're like little toilets that you hook onto the actual toilet, and the seat's gonna be like wider to like give more support from the bottom, you know, and then they'll have the hand railings on the side. That's all you have to do. It was so crazy. So I just wanted to share that tip with you guys. I'm going to end up making this live thing public, and then I'm going to post it for that lady on the support group that was having that challenge. And just keep in mind, everybody, potty shaming, for the record, potty shaming will carry any child. It will carry throughout their whole life. It'll affect their self-esteem, confidence. You know, don't make comments like, oh, stinky, or oh, I believe that it actually was not good. It's going to really affect their self-esteem and stuff. And so I'm going to go into, and if you guys are new people watching me, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel. And if you guys are here for information on autism, you might want to subscribe to Astro Winter. She's on here right now. She's also an autistic female, and we always watch each other's videos. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's go to teeth brushing. Okay, a lot of us, nobody wants to talk about it. A lot of us have executive challenges. I'm guilty. Yes, I do. I have executive challenges, everybody. Whatever. At first I was like, I don't want to tell anybody that, but you know what? It's reality. It happens to all of us. The best thing to do is to get the right support so that you don't, you know, end up affecting, you know, your hygiene and stuff like that. So let's go into that. Teeth brushing. So I was teaching my daughter. My daughter has touch stimulation issues, and I guess all of us do. My son has kind of overcome his touch stimulation issues for the most part. He's not like Izzy and I. Like, first off, toothpaste, for the record, if you have a child with autism and they're having trouble getting them to brush their teeth, you're gonna have to get a different type of toothpaste. I use this one that's really mild, watermelon. My son, he's like partying over there in the bed. Ozzy, he's brushing his teeth right now, right on. He has toothbrush in his hand. Yeah. So yeah. So you want to start with, for sure, getting a different toothpaste. Mint toothpaste. I don't like any any flavor that's lingering in my mouth that long. If I can't get it out of my mouth, I'm just like, it just throws me off to it. So, they also have those little fingers, like wipes for their teeth to clean. Leave her asleep. Leave her asleep. She's napping. Ozzy, you're trying to wake up Izzy. And so if you try those things and they're not working, and your child's just having touch stimulation issues and you're trying to get into their mouth and they're biting you and they're freaking out and they're screaming, back up, regroup. I posted a video not that long ago, and my daughter Izzy, she has touch stimulation issues, and she didn't even like bubbles. Like, she would panic if bubbles came at her or bubbles in the bath. I had to slowly get her used to that. So with teeth brushing, what I did with her is I drew on a little board a little smiley face, a little mouth, and I first started getting her to brush the little smiley face. I drew it with a dry erase marker, and she would brush the soap until the little face is gone. She'd brush it. Little teeth. She started teething. And then she'd laugh and she'd be like, clean. And then okay, so I'm like, ooh, nice and clean. And then I did it after. I drew one on my hand, a smiley face with the marker, and I was like, brush his teeth. Hey, brush my teeth, And she brushed the little hand, because she'll do it at first. So she have to first get used to the ritual, the act of brushing, but then after I put it on her hand, and at first she was like, and then I was like, come on, smiley face, he's happy, brush his teeth. And then I got the toothbrush, and I was like, and she kept going there, and I would go, and I would back up, and she got used to that. And then after that, she started to brush her own teeth. It took for a minute for me to realize that, and you have to do like interactive play to get some of the children to get to do things like that. And you have to like ease yourself around the outskirts of everything and like slowly like trick him into doing it, So that really worked for Izzy. There is two videos. It says like part 1 and part 2 of teeth brushing. I posted it like not that long ago. I think maybe like, I don't know, like a month ago. Check it out. Excuse me, Mr. Sexy. He's walking around his little underwear. You need help? Okay, I'm gonna come help you right now. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna end it there for a minute. I gotta go help Ozzy. He needs me. I hope that information was useful. Subscribe to my channel, everybody.